Hey guys, it's Roots. Today we're going to do a different craft project. You know, I'm always thinking of something crazy to do. Besides, I have thousands of herbs, I've got to use them up. But today we're going to do a soap project. I'll tell you the inspiration in a second. A lady that I did a barter with, her channel is called For the Love of Shay. She and I did a barter. She sent me soap. I sent her peppermint hair salve / grease and a few other things. And let's see, do I have the bar of soap? Yes, I do. And I'll list her little channel down at the bottom. She sent me lavender soap that was so nice on the skin, and I have one bar left. And thank you, darling. I love my soap, and I appreciate it. But I'm going to make my own soap today. Grate it up. We're going to go down to the table. Grate it up. 6 bars of white soap, the cheapest soap you can get at the store, because I'm not going to say the name because they don't pay me. Actually, the soap was free because it was on sale and I had a coupon, so it ended up I spent for 3 bars 14 cents, and for the other 3 bars I think it was 16 cents, something like that. But I just grated it with a box grater, and that's 6 bars of the white soap. And oil. We're going to end up using maybe 3/4 to a cup of oil. The oils that I want to put in my soap is coconut oil, shea butter, that's a heaping tablespoon of coconut oil, tablespoon of shea butter, olive oil, sunflower oil, and castor oil. We're also going to use red palm kernel oil. And you need a water. You can use plain water if you want it. This was distilled water. I made this last night, but I used hops, calendula, that's for my wonderful skin properties. The hops I'm using because of the ability to kill staph on the skin. As you know, I've told you that I'm a nurse and flu season is starting and infections are starting, so I'm wanting something to help me from the outside in. I'm going to use spearmint for my smell, and I'm going to use lemongrass for my smell. And I put I put 2 tablespoons of hops and a tablespoon of calendula, spearmint, and lemongrass in 2 cups of hot boiling water last night, and I let it steep. Actually, I did not realize that hops swell up so much because you don't need that much water. I'm going to strain a little bit of this out. Hops is something that you use to make beer, by the way. I'm going to strain a little bit of that out. And it kind of smells not so much like beer, but it smells exactly like the hops. I'm going to strain that and see how much liquid we need, but we can always come back and add more. So we're going to go straight over to the stove. We already have boiling water, and we're going to put our metal container there. Let me turn the fire down just a little bit. We're going to put our grated soap immediately into the bowl because we want it to start melting a bit. We don't want to burn it, so you have to be really careful as to how high you have your double boiler. Let me set that to the side. We're going to put a little bit of our infused water, just enough to get it moist, and we can always add more, but we're going to go a little slow on how much we add. The red palm kernel not only is not destroyed by heat, wonderful for the skin, wonderful for a lot of things, but I'm also using it for the color. I'm going to put a tablespoon of the red palm kernel oil because I don't want to put any artificial colors in this. Alrighty, we got all this in. See, that already starts to stain that soap a little bit. And let me get a glove because that's a tad bit on the hot side. Alright, that was too ugly. There we go. That was just as ugly, but that's okay. Let's see. I think we're going to put a little bit more liquid in that. We don't want it runny. We just want it moist. So that was maybe, let's see, I see the line here. That was 3/4 cup of the infused liquid. And the rest of the hops infusion, because beer is so great for the hair anyway, I'll use that later on for a hair rinse. See how it's not wet, but it looks just a little bit more moist? We're going to melt this soap down a bit and keep stirring it until it starts to get kind of like a thick pancake batter consistency. we're doing what they call rebatching of soap, where you take a soap that is a store-bought or a homemade preferably, and add other things that you wish to that soap, or if your bars turned out kind of wonky looking and you want it to look a little bit prettier, you can get the crumbles or the little bits that are left over and remelt them and pour them in your mold and turn them into something else. And we're going to keep stirring that. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're getting good bubbles on the bottom. I think you saw all that steam that's coming through. Alrighty. And like I was saying about the hops, hops is something that they have used since ancient times to make beer and beer type products, but I'm always looking and researching and trying to figure things out for myself. I also saw that it's one of the few herbs that is known to kill Staph aureus on the skin, and since I work in a hospital, I'm going to make my own soap. I'm going to make something that's going to help me out. Plus, I have like 10, maybe 10 bars of soap when I was doing wild, crazy couponing, and no one at my house uses bar soap. So instead of doing the liquid soap, no one uses it, I should say, except myself. I'm going to turn this into some bars for myself. That kind of reminds you of the soap that your mother bathed you with when you were little, though. Remember that Dial germicidal soap? I think that was one of the first germicidal soaps that we used. We're going to keep stirring this, and I'm going to come back in just a few minutes. Okay, guys, it has taken maybe 5 minutes to get this melted. I ended up putting a 1/4 cup more of the strained liquid with the hops and all the other things that I talked about in there. I put just a little bit more liquid, but you have to be careful about the amount of liquid, because the more liquid you add, the longer it takes for the soap to dry if you're wanting to cut it up into bars. See, you can still see that it has a few bits of the white soap still in there. And it's still bubbling. I've turned the fire off and it's still hot. And while it's hot here, I'm going to add the other oils to it. The shea butter, the coconut oil, the olive oil, the castor oil, and the sunflower oil. Now, as far as getting elaborate with it the way that I have done it, you do not have to do all of that. Where is my spatula? There we go. All you need is the soap, a cup of oil, about a cup of oil, 3/4 to a cup of oil, and some distilled water. And that's basically all you need. But because I want the properties of the herbs in it also, I decided to do infused water. So after we put the rest of our oils, and I'm doing this over the heat to make sure that the oils melt in really well and mixes into all of the soap, because I want those properties in each bar that I'm going to make. And we'll get that melted in real good. And that'll feel so good and soft on the skin too. Oh, that coconut smells excellent, excellent. And because we've added water, we're going to use tea tree. We're going to use grapefruit and geranium and eucalyptus as part of our preservative for it. Although for this, because it has the sodium tallow and all those different types of things that lie in it, it's not going to spoil anytime soon. The white soap that I use, everybody knows what it is. It comes 3 to a pack and it floats. But they're not paying me, so we're not going to say their name on camera. But I think we got our soap all nice and melted. Kind of looks like a nice lumpy porridge actually. And we're going to take that off the heat and bring it over to the counter. And I'm going to put more goodies into it. I'm going to put some coconut milk powder because that's what I like. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of the coconut milk powder. And we're going to stir that in. Then we're going to put the essential oils in, and then we're going to put it in the mold. That looks like something good enough and smells good enough to eat, I tell you. Oh man, that smells so good. Let's get it mixed in real good though, because we want each bar, and hopefully it turns out. With me, this is my #1 first experiment with rebatching soap. So in a week, we're going to come back after we let this sit to see how it dried out and how the bars turned out. Since I've never done this, I decided to do it on camera and let you see some of the experiments that I do in my kitchen. Alrighty, we got everything mixed in really well. And now we're going to put the geranium oil. Geranium oil. Alright, if we can get it out, there we go. I think that's 10 drops of that. Oh man, we dropped the top. We'll have to clean that in a second. We're going to put eucalyptus oil. And we're going to put a teaspoon of the eucalyptus oil. And we're going to put tea tree oil. These are not only... We're also going to put a teaspoon of the tea tree oil. And we're going to get that all stirred in and get it in the mold and tap it on the counter a few times. And then we're going to let it sit for about a week and see what we come up with. I want to give this a very good stir because I want those oils to go throughout the entire batch. And let's try not to get soap everywhere. That's quite a porridge, I tell you. I have a little container here. It's one of my old Glad containers that I never used. It's been sitting in my back room. And we're going to put the soap in there. We've already oiled the container. And we're going to put the soap in there, like I said. And then get the air bubbles out. Let's get it all out of the container. And try to get it as even as possible. Well, that wasn't a hard thing to do. It seemed hard because I had so many ingredients. But like I always tell everybody, use what you have in your kitchen. If you have 3 bars of white soap, some distilled water, and some oil, you're ready to go. You do not have to do... Alrighty, we got our soap in there. We gotta hurry before it gets too cold and get it in the mold. Otherwise, it's gonna be lumpy, lumpy, lumpy. Let's try to spread it out as evenly as possible. Oh, did you see that? That's to get it evened out and to get the air bubbles out too. There we go. And if the top's a little ugly, so be it. Because I never throw anything away. If it turns out lumpy and ugly, we'll add glycerin, put it in a bottle, and make hand soap. But that's the end of it. Alright guys, we're going to see how our homemade soap turned out. I can see on the counter here as it's drying that it's going to firm up quite nicely. See, that holds its shape. But we're still going to let it dry for about a week, maybe 3 days to a week to see how it turns out. And then we're going to come back and cut it and I'll show it to you. So I had a few camera issues this time and I'm sorry about that. But for the love of Shay, thank you so much again, darling, for the soap. I really enjoyed the barter. It was a real good experience. You're a great lady and I appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.